Coming up on KQ2 News at 6, your sewer bill may go up. We hear about the proposed sewer rate increase. Plus, the St. Joseph Goats have new ownership days before the start of the season, and one of the owners has ties to Missouri football. And a local business celebrating one worker's 20 years of service to the company.
From your local news leader, this is KQ2 News at 6.
You might be paying more on your sewer bill in St. Joseph. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Mary Grace Rice. The City Council hearing this week from a firm regarding the proposed sewer rate increase. KQ2's Rusty Summers brings us more on the potential increase.
The Kansas City-based engineering firm gave a briefing to City Council on why this rate increase is needed here in St. Joseph. KQ2 caught up with the superintendent of the wastewater for the city of St. Joseph.
So the rate pays for everything we do with the sewer at the treatment facility and all the collection system throughout the entire city. The reason rates typically go up are regulatory pressures and inflation. As everybody knows, inflation has been off the charts since COVID. We've been able to hold prices pretty steady through that, and now we're starting to see we need to move it up a little bit.
Leverton explains the city's integrated plan.
So the city is under a consent decree from the DNR and EPA that sets regulatory requirements on the city and requires us to do certain projects. We've renegotiated that plan, stretched it out over a 30-year period, and that's allowed us to keep rates low and steady for the foreseeable future.
The proposed rate increase will be used in a few different ways.
So the rate increase will allow us to continue operations at the sewer treatment facility and work on the collection system. It'll also allow us to keep our debt coverage where it needs to be so we don't get in trouble with our bonds.
And as sewer bills could increase at a proposed 3% rate, some in the community express opposition.
I don't think another increase is going to really benefit this community. I think it's going to hurt it more. I think there's going to be a lot of upset people with that increase, including myself. With inflation going up, does that mean they're going to raise our paychecks and the wages? Probably not. So the affordability isn't there. It doesn't equal out.
Reporting in St. Joseph, Rusty Summers, KQ2 News.
Let's head over now to KQ2's meteorologist Vanessa Alonso with our first forecast now. Hello, Vanessa.
Hey there, Mary Grace. Well, we woke up this morning to clouds and rain showers, and we have seen a few breaks in the clouds here and there with sunshine, as we're seeing right now in our Reed Auto Plaza camera, but you can still see a few clouds out there as we've been dealing with a few spotty rain showers throughout the afternoon, and this will continue heading into the evening as our storm system moves off to the east. Temperatures have been in the 70s all afternoon. We topped out at 74 here in St. Joseph today. As we head into tonight, into tomorrow morning, skies clearing up, a cool start, but I am expecting temperatures to get up into the upper 70s to near 80 degrees tomorrow. Here is your Ken Smith Auto Body allergy report for tomorrow. Grass and tree pollen on the moderate levels. I will have more on our weekend forecast coming up in just a bit.
Thanks, Vanessa. Today, Jason and Travis Kelsey's beer company, Garage Beer, announced it is now a part owner of the St. Joseph Goats, saying in a statement that it is more than a sponsorship. It's a bold, possibly confusing leap into the world of professional sports ownership, and they couldn't be more excited. The St. Joseph Goats compete in the Arena League and will host their first game at the Civic Arena on Saturday, June 7th. Clarios has announced a new partnership that aims to provide military spouses with long-term employment opportunities. The Department of Defense Military Spouse Employment Partnership, or MSEP, is an organization that focuses on lowering the high unemployment rate among veterans and their spouses, and Clarios has recently joined as a partner. As a new member of this organization, Clarios is providing an outlet to make jobs more available to qualified veterans and their spouses, providing a mutually beneficial relationship for both employee and employer.
It's just one more way we can attract new veterans into our company, showing that, yeah, we care about you, we want you, we have great programs for you, but we're not forgetting that you're part of a bigger family unit, and there's things we can do for the spouse that is in your family who also might need a job.
Clarios also states that this program is not prioritizing hiring veterans as they hire people based on skills and essential qualities, but this program gives veterans and their spouses a chance at a successful career. Elsewhere, there is a magical tutoring bus in the area looking to help curb the summer slump for students. Former longtime teacher Jerry Fisher deciding to take her teaching ability on the road. And her bus, she's ready and qualified to assist students in pre-K all the way up to kids going into the 7th grade. In a society of online learning and tutoring centers, Fisher believes the difference in her teaching experience can help students be in a familiar environment.
To be able to bring the environment with me and to be able to help kids with, feel safe, feel secure, and just be excited about learning.
To book an appointment, visit our website KQ2.com for phone numbers to the magical tutoring bus. Today, local Rotary Club members gathered to meet the Shoes for Orphan Souls caravan here in St. Joseph. Thousands of pairs of shoes have been collected by local clubs and will now make their way to those in need in the Dominican Republic and Guatemala. Members of the Rotary Clubs here in St. Joseph dropped off the donations at the Kohl's parking lot this morning, gathering 2,000 pairs of shoes to kick off the Northwest Missouri totals this morning.
I think one of the biggest beauties of this project is that it's something that every Rotarian can do. Every Rotarian's capable of going out and buying a new pair of shoes for, in this case, as you suggest, a child that they might not meet. But we all know the impact that we have.
The Rotary Clubs have been doing this project for 24 years. For the 25th anniversary, members want to challenge the entire St. Joseph community to donate a pair of shoes next year. Turning now to national news, the Trump administration is pushing back against a court ruling that blocks his sweeping tariffs. President Trump announced the tariffs on his so-called Liberation Day, but soon after hit pause to negotiate with several trading partners. The court's ruling brings uncertainty to those negotiations. ABC's Christiane Cordero has the details from Washington.
Today, the Trump administration is escalating its fight with federal judges after yesterday's decision by the U.S. Court of International Trade blocked the president's tariffs on major trading partners, calling his use of an emergency act, quote, contrary to law.
The courts should have no role here. There is a troubling and dangerous trend of unelected judges inserting themselves into the presidential decision-making process.
The 3 judges on the panel, one appointed by President Trump, unanimously decided the president does not have the authority to use his emergency powers to issue tariffs. They also blocked Trump's tariffs imposed to combat fentanyl trafficking because they, quote, do not deal with the threats described in the president's order. Wine importer Victor Owen Schwartz is a plaintiff in this case.
Businesses thrive on stability, right? This is the opposite. This is chaos. It's just been chaos.
As it looks to continue trade talks with China, the European Union, and other trading partners, the White House urges the court to delay enforcing its order, arguing it'd be a national security threat to undermine the president's negotiating power.
You imagine the administration is not going to give up. And from that point of view, I would think the other countries that are negotiating with the U.S. Might think it's worth sticking with the negotiations.
In a second rebuke of Trump's tariffs, another judge, this time here in D.C., sided with 2 small businesses who said the tariffs would cause their businesses irreparable harm and are being used illegally. Christiane Cordero, ABC News, Washington.
Hello? Check. 1, 2, 3. I'm scared. Hello? Okay. Okay. I need a new mic. Can we jukebox the weather? Because I'm not sure that my mic cord can handle me moving at all. Like how on the Live at 5, all I did was turn over here and then turn back and it went shh. Yeah. Okay.
Here, I found Brett's mic.
Welcome back. A local business celebrating the retirement of one of its employees today. KQ2's Chris Rouse shows us why one longtime Eckerd's Home Improvement employee means so much to his coworkers.
For a long time. I'm going to miss him.
If you found yourself shopping around Eckerd's Home Improvement anytime in the last 20 years, you've probably been welcomed in or helped by Mike Grossman.
Mikey's always there for you whenever you need anything. You can always count on him to be there. If he sees you do anything, he's always here. Let me do that for you.
Just the bond we have and how well we work together.
He's helpful, kind, he's always there.
Grossman putting in 20 years of service to the business, and his bosses, co-workers, family, and friends celebrating his retirement Thursday afternoon.
Knows what he wants to do, knows what needs to be done next, keeps track of things, makes sure we know the scores of the Royals and the Chiefs, what the weather's going to be.
Mike and I got invited to a party down in Kansas City. We're down there and we hit another bowling alley, and Mike's on my team is what I'm being told. They didn't know what I knew. There's a group of guys, probably about 15 to 20 of us, and Mike proceeds to kick every single buddy's butt.
Grossman, a distinguished Special Olympics athlete and St. Joseph Area Sports Hall of Famer, loved working at Eckerd's for all these years. The friendships he's made, the fun he's had.
Mikey always wants to give a hand. You know, been fun to be around Mike most of the time. Isn't that right?
Yep. Every morning, every time I came and unloaded trash, you were always there to give me a hand.
My buddy, too. My good friend in addition to being co-workers.
And they've been a good boss. I knew Ann and Steve for a long, long time.
And as he said Thursday, just because he's retiring from working full-time doesn't mean he won't still come around to help out when his team needs him.
I just want to say thanks to everybody, and I've had fun working with everybody.
Chris Roush, KQ2 News.
Well, here's a live look outside. Vanessa has your full weather forecast for you after a break. First, your almanac. KQ2 News at 6. We'll be right back.
Now, from the KQ2 Weather Desk, your KQ2 Local Weather Authority forecast with meteorologist Vanessa Alonso. Sponsored by Peak to Peak Roofing and Construction.
Vanessa, I feel like over the past few days we've seen a lot of clouds and rain, and today was real nice.
Oh God, Mary Grace. I mean, it was just, you know, we did have peaks of sunshine here and there, but we did have some clouds and some rain here and there after a very rainy start to our Thursday. Here is our Pascal picture of the day from Ed. This probably was from this morning, but as I'm looking at the trees, I'm like, well, a lot of the trees have been blooming. So, I mean, maybe this was earlier in the spring or winter, late winter, but that is a great picture, Ed. Thanks for sharing that with us. Now, the top weather stories as we head into the weekend will be the sunshine, the return of the warmer temperatures, and we start June on Sunday. So it's definitely going to be feeling like summer here across the region. But don't get too comfortable with this, because as we head into next week, we are going to be seeing storm chances back. I'll have more on that coming up in your 7-day forecast. Now, earlier this morning on Hometown This Morning, I talked about a lot of rain. This is the rain that we had from this morning. That has now pushed off to the east. And now we're getting just a few scattered showers here and there across the region this evening. But I'm really not expecting much with this activity. Now, with all the rain we've received, you're probably thinking, oh, the drought situation, is it getting better? Somewhat, yes, but some areas are still under that abnormally dry to moderate drought conditions. So we still have a ways to go as we're still in a little bit of a deficit, but there are rain chances in the forecast, so that is the good news. Today's high, 74. After starting off the day at 57, our average high for this time of the year is 80 degrees, but we're going to be way above that as we head into the weekend. Currently, we are sitting in the upper 60s to the lower 70s out there. Heading into tonight, those overnight lows will be falling to around, I would say, 52 degrees with partly cloudy skies. For tomorrow, 79 for the high, mostly sunny. And in your 7-day forecast, sunshine through at least Monday, Mary Grace, before showers and thunderstorms make a comeback as we head into the middle part of next week.
All right, thanks, Vanessa. Coming up.